morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Monday, May the 22nd. And we're about 2/3 of the way through May at this time, but we do want to pause just a bit and let you know that this is Stroke Awareness Month. And we have an RN with us from University Hospital, TAMI Harris. Good to have you here, Tammy. And I have the greatest respects for RNs. I was talking to you before we came on. Just the backbone of healthcare. But this is something that's very important to you, and that's stroke awareness, right?
Yes, it really is.
Warning signs?
Actually, yes. So signs and symptoms, the month of May being Stroke Awareness Month, we're trying to get as much information out to as many people in the community that we can so that they would recognize stroke symptoms.
So what is the most important bit of information as far as recognizing it?
I think knowing that it's a stroke symptom. Strokes are different than heart attacks because they don't usually hurt. So a lot of people know, oh, if I'm having chest pain, I should go to the emergency room because it could be a heart attack. However, with strokes, they don't usually hurt. They have numbness, tingling, dizziness, difficulty with speech. So those are all things that people tend to say, oh, I'm going to rest and see if this goes away. And then they fall outside of a window for treatment.
So you're telling me if you have numbness, where?
So it's usually one side of the body.
So okay, that's a red flag there, right?
Of the body. Yes.
If you have numbness on one side of the body, what should you do then?
You should call 911.
Now, what if you live a half an hour or 45 minutes away from medical care, from a hospital?
You should still call 911. There are some helicopters that can rendezvous with ambulances and get you to a hospital sooner. So calling 911 gets everybody on alert that you need their help.
Is it better to have someone take you if you're there with someone, or should you stay in place and have the ambulance or helicopter come to you?
I would say have the ambulance or helicopter come to you. The reason being that there are medical personnel inside of the ambulance that can do things like start IVs, they can do blood pressures, they can check you out. Whereas if someone is driving you to the hospital, they're unable to do those things.
Okay, so you're better to stay in place and have it come to you. Numbness, what's another factor?
So we like to say fast. Think fast. So drooping of one side of the face or numbness and tingling on one side of the face. Arm, you have them put their arms out, and if one drifts down or they're not able to bring that arm up, that would be a sign. Speech, which there's many kinds of speech. So there's slurring. There's the inability to make words or understand words. There's also when they are making words, but it sounds like they might have rocks or cotton in their mouth. So speech. And then T is for time. So we always say fast. Face, arm, speech, time to call 911.
Okay. If you have any questions at all, you can check it out online, can't you?
Absolutely.
University Health
Yep,
Care.
it's muhealth.org.
Okay. All right. Tammy, thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you.
You may have passed along some life-saving information to people
I hope so.
today. All right.
Pleasure
having you here.
Thank you.
Now, we go to a slightly brighter, well, I don't know if this is really brighter because we're dealing with Charlie Brown here and Lucy. Just a Little Theater is with us, and You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. I've got Lucy sitting right next to me. Good to have you. This is LACEY Williams.
That's correct.
And BRIAN HARPER, you're the director of A Good Man, Charlie
Yes.
Brown. We were talking also before we came on, Lucy just really is not a nice person.
She doesn't get a very good rap, and just kind of well-earned, actually. She's not always the nicest person in the world.
Tell us about this production.
It is the 8th, 9th, and 10th of June. We are doing 2 evening shows, 1 matinee. The Saturday performance is a matinee, so it's better for children to come.
Okay.
I love the show. I did it a million years ago when I was in high school. I was glad we picked it to direct. We have a great cast, various ages. They're really committed. It's a fun show. No serious message. It's the cartoon strips on stage singing.
And Charlie Brown, who's playing Charlie Brown in this?
Nick Gladbeck.
Does he do that Charlie Brown walk?
Well, the ironic thing, our Charlie Brown is, I think, our tallest cast member. So there's a scene when they're doing in a Glee Club rehearsal, and he stands on the bench in the back, and he is about this much taller. He's at least a foot taller than everyone else. Okay. Everyone else. But he's a great kid. it has a lot of the things that you are, if you have read the comic strips, you're familiar with the show.
Okay. And Lucy, you were just as ornery, cantankerous as ever. in this,
Yes, yeah. Like I said, it takes the love of her life, Schroeder, basically going, look, you're very crabby. You need to figure this out before she finally, the realization dawns.
Now, if you're not a hardcore Charlie Brown fan, I mean, I enjoy Charlie Brown, but I'm not one of those really hardcore fans. I didn't realize that Lucy had a last name.
Yes.
What is Lucy's last name?
Van Pelt.
Lucy Van Pelt.
Yes.
Okay. And the other thing that I always wondered about, you see these kids, but do you ever see their parents?
The only thing you ever hear is that distorted voice in the background is usually what you hear.
Yeah, but
more
even in the comics, these kids are totally unsupervised.
It was a simpler time, Paul.
Totally
these are from the
unsupervised.
60s.
And that's why they're so mean and bad to Charlie Brown, because they had no
Exactly.
adult supervision whatsoever.
There's no one there
I have
telling
a
them to be
feeling,
nice.
yeah.
Even when they're doing their Christmas production on the television special, there were no adults in there at all. They all had to decide everything for themselves. What is the most fun part of doing this, Brian?
It's enjoyable as a director to watch, go from just having the script in front of you and figuring out who's going to be cast, getting the cast, and watching each cast member discover the character. And hopefully they're discovering it the way you want them to do, but sometimes I've had times where the cast has come up with something that was different than I told them to do, and it's better. And so it's nice to see people take that character and then grow with it themselves and really let themselves try and expand what they want to do. They're acting on stage or what they
Do
feel
you
comfortable
feel
with.
that most of the cast are comic strip fans of Charlie Brown and Lucy?
I think probably half, because there's a break in the cast there. I mean, a couple are older, as in they're adults, and then some of them are still high school. I'm not sure they're as familiar with it because I don't know they see it all the time.
What about you, Lacey? Were you familiar with Lucy?
Yes, I was.
So did you have any trouble becoming the nasty person that Lucy is, since you look like such a nice person?
Yeah, it's not hard to find, especially with some of the people in the cast. They're fun to work with. And
Okay.
It's easy to riff off of them and try to be as mean as I possibly can.
Okay, all right. I find that looking at that smiling face of yours, I find it difficult. But you're a good man, Charlie Brown. You're running again when?
June 8th, 9th, and 10th.
June 8th, 9th, and 10th. How do people get tickets?
They can order tickets online on TLTJC.org, or they can come to the Miller Center box office during show week from 5 to 7.
Okay, your location is?
We perform at the Miller Center, the Miller Performing Arts Center on Madison and Jefferson.
In Jefferson City. Okay. See you next time. Thanks for watching.